Okay, so I've got the blocking in on this side. Back wall was done previously. Then the left side is done also, as you can see there. And I spaced the blocking pieces out anywhere from 8 to 14 inches apart. My goal was to stay in the 12-inch range, and so 8 to 14 inches, it's pretty close. But anyway, so a couple things I did, or I have to do still actually. On this side here, and actually on the other side too, when I put the blocking in, I only screwed it in on one side of the blocking. So I'm going to add screws on the opposite side so that I have kind of a crisscross going like this, so that the piece is in firmly and there's no chance of it actually twisting. So it's a little overboard probably, but you know, from what I've read, that's the way it's supposed to be done. And I just want to make sure that I don't have to open this floor up again later on. So I'm going to be doing that just as a precautionary measure. And so as you remember before, I was using the floor jack to jack up the wall. I continued that all the way down the wall. And as I got closer to the corner, I had to actually stop right about there on that blocking piece there, because then I started realizing if I continue down this wall, once I get to that corner, how am I going to get the corner piece in? So that's where I stopped, put the corner piece in over there first, and then backed up and put this piece in next, and then this piece to finish it off. And that was kind of the same procedure in this corner over here. I didn't want to box myself in a corner. I wanted to make sure that I had good access in the corner before I continued on. So that was done that way. Another thing that I ran into as I got down this wall, and I'll point you up so you can see it. I'll zoom you in a little bit. Right there. See where the pipe intersects the stud there? Well, when I was trying to jack up the wall, I was meeting resistance in that area, and I couldn't figure out exactly why. So I stepped back and I said, okay, I'm hitting something here. I don't know exactly what's going on and why this wall is not going up any further than it is. Let me take a look around and see what's going on. And that's when I looked up above, and I noticed that when they put the pipe in through that wall stud there, they didn't leave any space below the pipe for any kind of travel at all. So I had to actually take a chisel and a little mini hacksaw and cut about a 1/2 inch below that pipe into that wood, so that I could jack up the wall slightly. And the pipe is really rigid in that area, so the pipe was not going to move no matter what I did. So I had to actually make a cutout right below that pipe, about a 1/2 inch, and that allowed the wall to move so that I could jack it up. A couple other things I discovered. Using the floor jack, after a while, I started to use the floor jack to jack up the blocking itself instead of jacking up the wall. So I would jack up the blocking, and once it hit the wall, I would then, or the bottom of the subfloor, I would continue to jack it up, so they could get it to the right height. And that worked more on the left side. There's a lot more space on the left side of the wall over on here, this side here. So it worked pretty well over here. It didn't work so great on the right side, just because there's a lot of pipes and other things running along there. So that was one other discovery I made. Let's see here. The only other thing, I have a couple things left to do still. I need to add some bridging or blocking in this area here. I don't really think I need to, because if the span between the foundation wall and the beam is only about 8 feet, and you don't really have to add bridging from what I've read, unless the span is 8 feet or longer. But I may still end up doing that. I may end up adding some blocking in there just to finish this off properly, or to add a little more support to it. So I'm kind of overdoing this bathroom, but again, I don't even want to think about this later on down the road. So with all the damage that was in here previously. I wanted to get this solid and not have to ever think about it again. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I had to do on this bathroom. One other thing down here, if you remembered, I made a hole right there to run the electrical, and because the original plan was to actually leave the existing subfloor intact and just add some subfloor on top of it, add plywood on top of the existing subfloor, or just to continue on with the tiling without even affecting the subfloor. But of course, I discovered that the subfloor was substandard, so I had to actually take out the subfloor and add new subfloor back in. So what I'm going to do then, since that hole was blocked up by the blocking that I put in, I'm going to have to move the hole for the electrical either to that wall over there or the wall on the opposite side. So that's one other thing. But that's pretty much it. Everything's gone pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with how this has turned out so far. So I'll just go ahead and continue on, adding some blocking in the middle here, in between the joists, and start hopefully putting this back together pretty soon. Thanks for watching.